One of the biggest struggles for those of you out there trying to lose weight is, how do I control hunger? Let's start off with a sidebar actually. When you are eating in a calorie deficit to lose weight, it's okay and actually a good thing to be a little bit hungry. It's a good sign that you are on the right track. That doesn't mean that you should be starving or extremely hungry, but a little bit of hunger is actually a good thing if you're trying to lose weight. Today I'd like to give you 5 tips on how to control hunger during weight loss. Number 1, adequate protein intake. My personal recommendation is anywhere between 0.7 to 1.0 grams per pound of body weight daily. Protein's role in satiety or feeling full is very simple. There are 2 main hormones that regulate appetite, ghrelin and leptin. Leptin is the satiety hormone, ghrelin is the hunger hormone. Now when you're dieting, when you're eating in a calorie deficit, hunger obviously goes up. One way to counteract that is by including plenty of protein in your diet. As studies have shown, higher protein diets, generally speaking, have increased central nervous system leptin sensitivity. Protein makes you full. Great, eat plenty of it. Protein also increases the thermic effect of feeding more so than fats or carbs. This increase in thermogenesis seems to have a positive impact on satiety. Now we also know there is a positive correlation between adequate sleep and hunger control. They did a review in 2008 on the associations between sleep loss and the increased risk of obesity and diabetes. They found that sleep curtailment has an association with increased ghrelin levels, which makes you hungrier, and decreased leptin levels, which of course increases satiety. Now they did another study in 2004, which essentially found the same thing. Short sleep duration is positively associated with increases in ghrelin and decreases in leptin. I will say, in terms of hunger control, I do think sleep is the most underrated tip I can give you today. There seems to be some badge of honor in American society, hustling, going for it. I can sleep when I die. This has gotten a little out of hand. I do want to thank my wife, Megan, for actually getting me to start going to bed a little bit earlier, because even I fell into this trap. Sleep is so important, not just for hunger control, but for recovering from workouts, for normal, everyday, proper brain functioning. So make sure you get enough sleep. I recommend anywhere from 7 to 9 hours, ideally trending towards those 8 and 9 hour ranges. My 3rd tip for you today is often an underutilized strategy, and that is pre-meal water ingestion. Put simply, just drink a glass of water before every meal. So in 2016, they did a study with lean young males. You may be saying to yourself, I'm not a lean young male, but that's okay. Hold that thought for a second. They had this group drink a glass of water before a meal, 568 milliliters to be exact, and it did reduce their energy take for the meal following. Older people, I got you covered. In 2007, they had another group that consumed a pre-meal glass of water. What they found was the water helped older but not younger subjects reduce their energy intake for the meal following. So between those 2 studies, we got the old and the young covered. We're fine. And lastly, we have another study in 2007 where they took an obese population and had them drink a glass of water before a meal. They did find evidence that this would help lead to moderate weight loss. Now, of course, none of these studies are conclusive, but it does lend some credence to the idea that a glass of water before a meal can certainly help control hunger. Tip number 4, prioritize whole foods, specifically fiber-rich foods like fruits, vegetables, legumes, whole grains. These are great choices to help control hunger. Now they did a review in 2001 on the correlations between dietary fiber and weight regulation. What they found was, in the majority of studies, when calories are controlled, an increase in dietary fiber, increased post-meal satiety, and decreased hunger. Now, interestingly, there's another review done in 2013 on dietary fiber and satiety. And while they did find that increased fiber intake did have an association with weight loss, acute fiber intake did not have an effect on satiety or reduced food intake. What this may mean for you is, okay, yeah, regular fiber intake is really important. Having it every now and then is probably not going to help control hunger quite as much as it would be if you're eating it on a regular basis. That seems obvious though, right? Now tip number 5, and this goes right along with tip number 4, limit processed foods. If you're eating in a calorie deficit and you were eating a lot of chips, crackers, soda, candy, Funyuns, melted processed cheese, you're probably going to have a very hard time losing weight because you simply will be hungry all the time. I'm not telling you to never eat those foods, But if the majority of your diet includes processed foods, man, you are really going to suffer. Ice cream gets a free pass, by the way. One last quick note here, kind of a sidebar. What is the relationship between exercise and hunger? Does it help control hunger? Does it actually make you hungrier? Anecdotally, what I've noticed with clients, it seems to be split down the middle. Half my clients get hungrier after working out, half actually their appetite is reduced. And what I found with the research is this is pretty much spot on with the research as well. There doesn't seem to be a direct correlation between exercise and getting hungrier. What I will say is, in terms of weight loss, using exercise as your main mode to lose weight is a massive mistake. A lot of people make it. You probably heard you can never outtrain a bad diet, and that is 100% true. Nutrition should be your main priority when looking at fat loss. And I just want to pull up these few sentences from one of these studies I looked at. I think these few sentences are absolutely fantastic, so pay attention to these. Reasons why physical activity often produces disappointing effects rise from inappropriate food choices, a desire for self-reward after exercise, and misjudgments about the relative rates at which energy can be expended by exercise or taken in by eating. This means that physical activity will be most beneficial for weight control if carried out in conjunction with a low energy dense diet or with judicious control of eating. What this means to me is people will often exercise and then reward themselves with food afterwards because, hey, I worked out and now I get to eat and drink. They also misjudge how many calories they expend through exercise. And this has been perpetuated a bit by treadmills and ellipticals that will measure how many calories you're burning, but then also heart rate monitors. And people have this obsession with how many calories they burn during a session. Most of the time, that's going to be overestimated by those machines or by your Fitbit or heart rate monitor. And of course, people also underestimate how many calories they take in. So please do not use exercise as your main mode to lose weight. You have to include nutrition. Always, always, always. Okay, so let's review really quick. 5 tips to control hunger. Adequate protein intake. That would be anywhere from 0.7 to 1.0 grams per pound of body weight daily. Number 2, sleep 7 to 9 hours per night. Number 3, drink a big glass of water before every meal. Number 4, prioritize whole foods, specifically fiber-rich foods like fruits, vegetables, legumes, whole grains. And then finally, limit processed foods like chips, melted processed cheese, Funyuns, pop, candy, all that stuff. Get rid of it. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe to my page to see more videos like this and share it with a friend.